Okay. Um. Boy. Boy. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay, I see you guys. Perfect. Let's do a pop out chat. I haven't done this in a while, so you'll have to forgive me. That ends the stream. It might get a little loud here. Brace yourselves. We got the video playback on the the featured video on the channel. Or not. Okay, I forgot I did that. Let's copy this link everywhere. And then we'll get some more people here. Let's copy this link everywhere. There's me. There's the guy. Go to Twitter. And then I think to post it on my Instagram, I'm going to need to hop onto my phone real quick. So that should be fun. Isn't this just the most exciting stream you've ever seen? We're almost at the funny 1987 followers on Twitter, so that's fun. Yo, he's back. Sorry it took so long. I'm going to be streaming in a few minutes, he says an hour ago. Here it is. Let's see if that works. I may show off my puppet mask here during the stream today. We'll have to see. I've been trying to edit a video for this for months. Maybe not months, maybe like a month or two, however long it's been done. I said, I teased the mask with that photo, and I said, I'm gonna reveal this soon, stay tuned, and then I never did, because Premiere has been crashing every time I try to edit that timeline. I think this collab part actually is for Freddy Animator in 97. So, FNAF for the Nintendo. What is that goofy face I'm making? Love that. Let's put this link on Instagram real quick, and then we can go ahead and get started animating. How's everybody doing today? It's been a while. It has been quite a while since we've done one of these. FNAF for the Nintendo. I'm kind of sniffly today too. I apologize. If I need to, I'll go get tissues. Copy. Pretty good. That's good to hear. Oh, goodness me. I am putting this link on YouTube or on Instagram. And the first thing I see, it's an account called FNAF.jokes. That's their username. And the first thing I see is when DJ Music Man is trying to reach into the bathroom in Security Breach, it's like a giant model of Vanessa. Love that. I don't know which one is the correct one. No, that's not going to work. Let's try something else. Hello, Hezena the Hedgehog. Mr. Toy Freddy's 64. Good to see you guys. We're getting there, guys. I promise. We will be animating today. There I am. Oh, I'm drinking the water. Look at me go. Share. Copy link. Okay. We're close. I'm going to look up at the thing. Oh, you can see me drinking the water as the things go back. It's going to be on the third one. I'm going to tilt my head back in just a sec. There I go. I lean back and then I drink the water. There it is. And we're live. Sniffly, sniffly. I apologize. Ay, ay, ay. Let's just try black text. Okay. Real fun lock. Hello. MSM Rabbit. MSM Monty Spawn Management. I've been watching a lot of Astral Spiff lately. I'll put that photo of the from Instagram that I was talking about on my story. If you go to my Instagram, it's just Memphis12. You will be able to see what I was just talking about with the Vanessa. I'm a fan of yours. I just want to say hello because I keep watching your Counting Sheep animation on loop. Thank you very much. Hello, hi. That means a lot. I really appreciate that. I may or may not have some ideas for a potential revisit to that. It all depends on, if I were to revisit Counting Sheep, it would be themed on Bendy and the Dark Revival. I saw a comment on the original one saying, how about you make the next one Bendy Dark Revival themed? And I'm like, you know what? That's actually a pretty good idea. So, I've seen lots of models and I've seen lots of characters on the workshop. If I can get access to maps and environments, I may consider revisiting that. We'll have to wait and see. You're the only ones that know that so far. You guys are the only ones that know. I can pin messages to the chat. Got it. Okay. Let's boot up Steam here. Source Filmmaker. It is finally time. We're doing it. I better put a link in my chat too. In my Discord server too. I am a sleepy boy. Sleepy boy. Launching snowballs in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Let's... I was going to say let's play a game. Let's ask, questions like what's the most exciting thing that's happened this week. But I don't know if that is getting a little too personal. Maybe later. New uploads. Pinging everyone. I don't know if that's the right link. Fingers crossed. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yes, I am in the house. Heck yeah. Source filmmaker not responding. Love it. Okay. Let's see. I actually might need to copy a session. Because if I try to do this in an existing session, it's such a long shot that I'm going to work on that I need to totally redo or totally make another session. I need to copy a session. I mean, you know what I'm trying to say. I need to make a copy of an existing session so that I can keep lighting from that session. And I might end up changing the office lighting anyways because it's stinky and I can't light well at all. Abandoned clown, don't miss your bus for me, please. If you need to go catch your bus, or I guess if you're already on the bus, that's good. User mod. I think it's either scripts or it's elements. No, it's elements. And then sessions. And then we're going to take this one and we're going to duplicate it. We're going to copy. We're going to paste. And we're going to rename it to D. What I do is when I personally am working on a session, I will take the first couple of shots and I will name that session A. And I'll take the next couple of shots and I'll name that session B. Then the next couple of shots will be session C. It just makes it a little bit easier to know kind of where I am in the animation. And what I've started doing recently is, I don't know how well you can see this, it's probably super tiny, but I've started labeling what the video is and who it's for. So with the collab parts, I'll say BB voice line, so Balloon Boy voice lines collab part for Freddy Animator 97. And it makes it so much easier. Everyone's saying bye to Funlock, so just came by to see how things were going. Say hi. I need to return to working. Have a wonderful day at work. That is a good tactic as well. Loris, I still can't pronounce your name. I'm so sorry. We'll call you FB Films, or we'll call you Fredbear today. Forgive me. But the 1, 2, 3 is really good as well. Just having that sort of organization to be able to know what I'm working on, where it is in the project that we're working on, and just to be able to keep better tabs on things. Oh boy. I'm on a wonky bar stool. I'll hold it up because I'm feeling goofy. I'm on this bar stool and it's a little wonky. I think it's called like the saddle or something. You can sit on it like this with your legs on the sides, or you can sit on it like a regular seat. It's neat. It's pretty cool and it rocks. It's dope. I have you guys on a standing desk today. That's super cool. I got this desk a while back and I have loved it. This is a desk from Uplift. It's so good. Yeah, 578,000 years later. Okay, and then what you do to open the copy of that session is you actually go here into open. You don't open recent. Then you go and you find your sessions. You go into user mod, then elements, and then sessions, and then you can go find we made number D. We made big D. We made the D. We made session D. There's no good way to say that sentence. And then it'll maybe work on uploading that. There we go. And we've got that YouTube pop-out chat that we need to bring up here as well. What am I planning to do in SFM? That is a great question, J-Man. Today, we are animating a collab part that actually I think is due tomorrow that I haven't been working on recently because life and chaos with that. And another project, which if you are following me on social media, on my Twitter and my Instagram and my Facebook, the Facebook one's not as important, but if you're following me on Twitter and Instagram, you know what this project is. I have not teased it on YouTube. I have not put a community post out, which I'm going to do later today, but it's over here. It's big, and you know what? We'll show it now. We'll just show it now. We'll get it out of the way. So I have, oh, we're moving everything. I got myself a 3D printer a few months back, and what we've been doing with that, we made the puppet mask. I have a bunch of little projects everywhere. I have this little Bill Cipher that I made. This one's cool. I have this was my second thing ever. I have a Lego mug. You can't see that because the mic is in the way. I have a Lego mug, and I've been using it as a pen holder. I'm going to paint it red eventually. And the biggest thing, the second biggest thing is this puppet mask, and I'll show this later. But the absolute coolest thing that I've been doing with this printer is I've been making my first cosplay piece. You probably recognize this snout. If you don't, here's the rest of it. Oh boy. And I've never put it on upside down like that. That was a bit wonky. But it's going to look a little weird. He's going to look weird because he doesn't have one of his, like, most prominent features. And because this lighting doesn't really help because it's black. If I do this, that kind of helps a little bit. Not really. I think that just made it worse. But yeah, that does not help at all. Oh my goodness. I might just pull up the video on the stream and see what we're doing. But it's a glitch trap head. I am doing a glitch trap costume. I am so excited. It's going to be good. I have the fur over there on the other side of this room. I have to cut holes in the top of it. I have to make ear holes. I have to make whisker holes. I have to make eyes. I have to make teeth. I'm going to carve the teeth and the ears out of foam. And it's just going to be awesome. And I'll be able to have just this super cool head of glitch trap just on my desk. Or maybe we'll make a wall mount for it eventually. I don't know if you can hear me over there, but it's cool. Looking at chat real quick. I remember the Lego mug. When you don't apply the subdivision modifier. So the reason that I didn't like subdivide this, and I actually modeled that entire head from the ground up on my own, which I'm so proud of. But the reason that this was not like super smooth, it's kind of low poly, is because I don't need it to be super smooth. I'm putting fur on it, so I just need to do a little bit of sanding, and then the fur is going to cover up like the polygon count. So it doesn't really matter when you take all that into consideration. Eventually, I have other characters lined up that I am really wanting to do after Glitch Trap that I am going to need to smooth a little bit more in pre-production before they go into the printer. Like, I'll need to subdivide them more than I did with him. But with him, it doesn't really matter because he's getting furred. And I'm talking really fast. If I'm talking too fast, by all means, tell me and I can slow down. Gotta love that ADHD. But it does not matter because the fur is going to cover up the polygon count. When it is a thing like this mug and like the puppet mask, the smoothness does matter because you are just going to see the bare plastic and then the paint that goes over top of it. So those need to be smooth, but the glitch trap does not. The mustache looks nice. Thank you. It's not too good. I had a full, like, legitimate mustache for November, because I had some people who were saying that's weird. I've never heard of that. When I mentioned no shave November, like I know there's no nut November, um, but no shave November. It might just be a Utah thing, but it's been a thing for as long as I can remember. And I'm gonna try holding these photos up to my camera here and see how they work. But I had like a full beard, well, as full as I could get it in 30 days. It was pretty solid. That is what we were looking at. Yeah, that's okay. So I had a legitimate beard, and then I shaved it to the point where I actually did have a mustache. Solid. Now now that is a look. That's fun. Gotta love that. Okay. Enough stalling. Let's finally get to animating. No Shave November was the OG. Thank you. That's a global thing. Then I won. No shave. Keep the beard. Where were you? I was. That is quite the face I just made. I was doing life stuff. I have been working a lot and preparing to go back to college. I'm finally going back to college in January. I'm very, very excited. Facial hair looks better than mine now. Um, and J-Man, I have not seen anyone who has as much energy as you. I love to be energetic. I am just a very outwards kind of guy. It's probably just another ADHD thing as well, but I love expressing myself. I've noticed that that's a thing that I am very like proficient with, and I'm trying to get rid of filler words like and So I apologize if I'm using any of those today, but I'm trying to be better with that. Expression. I've been noticing that expression is a really strong asset of mine, and I'm going to be utilizing that in college, where my plan is to study theater. We're going to be doing a theater major with a music minor, I want to say. I think that's the plan. The reason I'm not doing animation, I was going to do animation originally. My initial plan was to do theater. I got talked out of that, and so I'm like, you know what? We'll do animation. That is our next best thing. We're really good at that, and to be able to take that to the next level would be great. And then I had a absolutely atrocious experience with the art major at the college that I'm actually going back to. It was not a good semester, and it did not click with me, if that makes sense. Just a lot of things did not line up the way that I thought they would, and I realized that art majoring was not for me. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going back to what I wanted to do originally, which is theater. And I sorry. I saw a comment, I got flustered. But the plan is to do theater. I did theater. I started with theater in 6th grade, and we did theater all the way from 6th grade to my senior year of high school. And it was the time of my life. I did musical theater. I did like plays and productions without the music. I did classes for theater all throughout school. I'm very low. I apologize. I'm like leaning and slouching over the desk. But theater is a super big part of my life, and I am so freaking excited to get back into that. And I love singing as well. I love singing, and I'm hoping to be able to get some choir classes and some vocal coaching and just to do some music stuff in there too. But theater is going to be my major. I'm pretty confident with that, with theater being my major. It's going to be good. Animation will continue on the side. I only have about 10 credits. No, I do have 10 credits lined up. I may have 11 because I'm going to be signing up for an institute class. But the plan is I have way less on my plate this semester than I did the last time I was there at the college. And so I'll be able to have more free time to do animations. I was going to say that the output's going to be a little slower, but output's been pretty slow anyways. So I don't really get to talk there. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Is it Eve Leave? Eve Live? You said hello, my beloved, and I would just like to reciprocate that if you are who I'm thinking you are. Let me check. Yeah. Yeah. Freaking. You need to check this one out. This is a good channel. This is a good freaking channel. Yes. Go check them out. And we got Kate in here as well. Sing the FNAF song eventually, maybe. I don't know. I would love to work with Tyson, AP Angry Piggy on stuff. I feel like I need coaching to be able to get to that point. I need vocal coaching to be able to get to a point where I want to perform and things like that. But I would love to work with him eventually. He is such a cool dude, and I would love to be able to help out with that. The stream abusively delayed. I'd love to animate for him as well, but I would love to sing with him. I think that'd be fun. I would love to animate with him, and I would love to just work with him. I think it'd be super cool. I would also like to... No. I'm going to keep that private. All right. Let's get down to business. Oh, boy. Let's do this. So, I'm going to take out these. The reason I copied this session, if I didn't mention it before, is... a slug. Bendy, hello. Yeah, there he is. I have office lighting that I wanted to keep in a different session, and I didn't know if I would be able to replicate it. So I'm like, I'll just duplicate the session and we'll be able to use it later. So this collab part, it's Balloon Boy voice lines. And the whole thing that I wanted to do with this is I didn't want to just have like 10 seconds, you have a hello, you have a hi, and you have a ha ha ha. I wanted to make it cool. I wanted to kind of make it cinematic in a way. And so what I did is... I don't know if I've exported anything yet. Let's see. I think I've exported something. We'll go to the BB stuff. If you want to shoot a message to him, I want to call you Loris, but I know that's not how you pronounce it. If you want to message him, by all means, you can. I just don't want to bug him. That's the thing, is I know he's probably a very busy man. He's a very, very handsome, busy man. And, very talented man. And I don't want to bug him. But, this is kind of what we're going for with the whole cinematic thing. So, I have a phone guy call. I think it's the phone guy... night 2 or 3? It's night 2, because he's like, by now I'm sure you've noticed the older models sitting in the back rooms. And so I'm having this phone call play, and I'm having BB kind of explore the area, and the area kind of like come alive as the phone call is playing out, like to what it's being said.
By now I'm sure you've noticed the older models sitting in the back room.
Hello.
Those older ones shouldn't be able to walk around.
And so it's something like this. And I exported this without reflections on the floor, so I need to go back and re-edit all these. But for this, BB has ventured to the back room where the older models are, that the player has probably noticed by now. He throws the door open, and it's gonna lag because we're streaming. But oh boy. He throws the door open, his eyes light up, and that's where one of his hellos come in. He's like asking like, hello, is anybody back here? And then he doesn't get a response. So he gets bored. He gets a little annoyed. And he decides to waddle in and see exactly what's going on. He sees Chica over here. And then the next shot has him just looking around at the different characters. And then he eventually lands on Foxy. And then that's where the whole video kind of centers around him with Foxy. You want to see what I have so far? I got the name right. Perfect. Ido is in here. Blender. The thing is, my computer can't handle Blender. That otherwise, I would absolutely be using it for something like this. But I can't run Blender to its full capacity right now. Just hum in Mario Kart. Empty Space Studios, very good as well. I remember on a previous stream that I did, there was a shot, I think it was the Ultimate Fright, where Golden Freddy was flying in through the hallway, and he came from like a wireframe. He was like a really light blue wireframe, and he like zipped into his, or transformed into his regular thing, and my jaw dropped. You can't see my SFM? Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I forgot that I had the big face there. Let's take a look at this again. There we go. That's better. That is way better. Let's bring that video back up. Does he know? I do now. So let's actually look at this video now. I'm so sorry about that, guys. Thank you. So he wanders to the back room. He wanders to the back rooms, and we get to this.
The older models sitting in the back room.
Hello.
Those older ones shouldn't be able to walk around.
And so, running through this again, he runs to the back. He shoves open the door, and his eyes light up because he's in the dark and he can't see. So his eyes light up like flashlights, and I may put volumetrics in for that. I don't know. But his eyes light up to kind of inspect the dark area. And he asks, hello, seeing if anybody's in there. And when he doesn't get a response, he gets angry. He gets a little mad, a little annoyed. He waddles in, and then he decides to look around and see exactly what's going on. But that's the shot that we're looking at here. And you can actually see it now.
Models sitting in the back room.
Hello.
Those older ones shouldn't be able to walk around.
And it's lagging a bit because we're on stream. But that's what we're looking at. There we go. All right. Bro was confunkled. I was. You are so cool and epic and slay, but also we can't see the animation. How do I run Source but not Blender? I do not know. I do not know. It's just my silly haha computer. My specs, it's a couple of years old. I will look that up later. Shrooshes. Yeah, or Sarooshes. That sounds right. Hi there. Worst experience of my life with the video core. Was that you that had the... No, that was Empty Space that had the wireframe. Very original joke. Okay, yeah. Absolutely hornswaggled. Ari's in here too. Hey fish, howdy. Can you import SFM animation cycles into Blender? I'm sure you can. I don't know how. Oh, are they actually? Are they actually the same? Solid. I did not know that. I sent you a very awesome Discord video on Discord. You should check it out. Is it stream safe? Is it safe for this, or would you like me to wait until we're done streaming to be able to watch that? The explodes. Everything's looking good. Awesome. It is stream safe. Okay. Is it a video of your dog? I got a dog. I'll show you photos of her in a bit. I have her as my Twitter banner. Incredible. Is this you? Is this your session? Here, let me open it in a bigger tab so the rest of you guys can see. This is solid. If this is your session, I need to know how you light your office. If anyone else has any tips on lighting the office as well, I really need help with that. Lighting is something that I struggle with. That's solid. I love that. Bella, yes! Lawrence knows Bella. Let's pull her up. We'll get to the animation in a bit, I promise. If you go to my Twitter, my banner is our dog Bella. Little baby. My little baby. And I'm totally blocking her, aren't I? I'm blocking her. Let me shrink myself down. There we go. There's my baby. She's away to trainer right now. She has pit bull and terrier in her. She's a pit bull terrier mix. Whoa, where did that go? I don't know if you actually saw Bella then. Bella is a pit bull terrier mix, or at least she has both of those breeds in her. And so she's a very stubborn dog. And we decided there are little things about her that we don't know what to do, and we're going to send her to someone who actually does. So she's at a trainer right now. She's going to be with her for a few more weeks, and then maybe I'll be able to get her onto a stream before I leave for college. She is adorable. Adorable, though. We got her from the local shelter, and she has been amazing. First dog ever. And I could not be more happy. I would love to eventually, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the breed Bohemian Shepherd. That's the dog that I want to get. A lot of the things about that dog, the temperament, the lifestyle, just the way that the dog thrives, a lot of it lines up pretty well with me. And so if it works out, after I'm done with college, I would love to get a Bohemian Shepherd. And I think that'd be super, super dope. I'm waiting until after I'm done college because I cannot fund or like give the proper lifestyle to a dog. After we're done college, dog and wife and family and kids and all that. After that, I'm so excited to be able to have a family of my own. But I'm just a boy. I'm just a lad. I'm only 20 for 3 more days. Anyway, let's get to animating. Your dog is superior. I would love to see. 5 Nuts at what the dog doing? Focus on rim lights. Yeah, rim lights are super, super nice. I saw a thing. If you guys are familiar with the animation colleges like Animation Mentor and Anim School posts a bunch of memes on their Instagram story. And I think one of them was about rim lights, just adding rim lights to everything, unnecessary rim lights everywhere. It's because that's what we do as animators. But yeah, I utilize the heck out of rim lights, and I am very, very passionate about those. First of all, it is memfish. Memefish is not a thing. Are you gonna stop SFM one day and move to Blender? Eventually, maybe. I love Source. Source is kind of it's not what I started animation with. I started animation with, where did it go? If any of you guys had the Nintendo DSi, I have mine right here. And this is what I started animating on. I don't have my original flip notes. I think they got lost on an SD card or they got erased. Oh, that's a nice sound. We're playing that again. Isn't that nice? But this is where I started animating. This was the beginning of it all. I got this for a birthday or a Christmas or something. And I did this one the other night. I couldn't sleep the other night, and so I did a bouncing ball. and it's solid. It's a digital flip book. I love this so much. I've done. I used to do sprite animations. Like people would upload sprites to the Flipnote version of YouTube was the Flipnote Hatena. The Flipnote Hatena, excuse me. And what you could do at that point is you could download other people's Flipnotes and you could use their things and you could make your own content. And you could people would upload sprite packs. So what they would do is they would draw the sprites out, like they draw. If we wanted to use Sonic, they would draw a Sonic out, sprite like pixel for pixel, and you could download those and you could copy and paste those page after page, and you could make a Sonic sprite animation. I have one. It's like another bouncing ball thing, like I just showed you, but I have a little character from Sonic, and I don't know how well it's going to display, doing a jump on a spring. And it's just things like that that are super, super cool. Like you had Undertale sprite packs, people would just upload pages and pages and pages of Undertale sprites, and you would use those for your animations. And I freehanded this guy. If you guys, well, you know exactly what this is from. It is the Bendy from Brothers in Arms. I freehanded that entirely. I just focused on layer upon layer. I started with the torso. I just moved it up and down, and then I started drawing over top of that with the arms, and I started moving the arms, and I started moving the fingers around, and I moved the head, and it's so cool. And I loved all of this. I did a couple of scoopers. I did some scooper animations. This was my original one, and then I started refining it. Oh, that's the first one. I started refining it. It's the scooper. And it's cool. This is okay. Last one, and then we're going to the actual like the source filmmaker animation. Oh boy. It's an Undertale one. You won't be able to hear the audio. It's a beautiful day outside. Birds are singing, flowers are blooming. On days like this, kids like you. Yeah, and it's lagging a little bit because it's the stream camera. But it's cool. This is what I started animation with, and being able to go and revisit those is so much fun. And then I started on Source Filmmaker, and in my, I think, 4K Q&A, I have a video of one of the first things that I ever animated. It was a clip from Mando Pony's Noticed, back when I was obsessed with that song. XGBX Dasian got me hooked on that song with his animations of that. I am very disappointed that he is making NFTs now, or he was the last time I checked, but his animations were a huge motivator for me making my content. If you guys remember XGBX Station. But what game is that on the DSi? So that was a program that came installed with the DS. It is the Flipnote Studio, like a flip book, but with like a digital notepad. It's the Flipnote Studio, and it's awesome. And there's still the Flipnote Hatena, or I think Pseudo Memo, exists today. So people are still making flip notes and they're uploading it to the Pseudo Memo. Abandoned Clown, have a wonderful day. Bye bye bye. Donkey Boy, Chaotic Sheep 2022 remake 2022 is almost over, my friend. I cannot promise a 2022 remake. We kind of talked about that earlier at the beginning of the stream, so if you want to go check that out, that is, I think I'll keep the stream up, so that's something you can go check out. We did talk about Counting Sheep and kind of plans for that. Sam Loves Math. Are you the one that made the No More Cake joke animation? And I'm sorry if that's all I remember you for. This is literally ADHD. I am so sorry, guys. It's like I'll see a name and I have to know. The Day Shift to Freddy's the trumpet. That is one of my favorite videos ever. And then I do believe you did the No More Cake one, or maybe I'm just going crazy. Maybe that was someone else. No, that was somebody else. I think. Oh my goodness. I don't remember. Somebody made there was somebody who hosted a No More Cake by CG5 at Collab on that, and one of the shots had a cupcake with really big eyes that was like turning around really slow. And then there was they're singing like "There's no more cake, there's no more cake," and Bonnie, I think it is, flies into not flies, falls into a table or something. Was that you? I don't remember. But the old sport plays a trumpet. It's such a good video.
What the hell? Sport, stop.
It blows into the music box. Yeah. It's so good. I love that video so much. Excuse me. Golden did that. Okay, yep, that's right. You just moved it. Okay, okay. Perfect. Okay, let's actually get to this now. So, we gotta find the audio first, and it might help if I unmute source. Absolutely.
We'll work on Foxy. If for some reason he activates during the night,
B crawls through a vent.
standing at the far end of the hall.
Oh, and you see him standing. That's where this shot starts. No, I don't want to splice the scene. I want to splice the audio. Okay. If you would like, I could show off what I have already, and that'll give you better context as to what's going down here. Or I could leave that as a surprise. Bye, freezing SFM. What would you guys like? I can... Oh, I'm frozen. There we go. I can show off what I've got so far. Or we can save that and just work on this today. I'll leave that up to you. Hello, Snesquick. Love that username, by the way. Working on I Got No Time remix. That's exciting. Frog is here. Okay, something about Frog right here. He makes some very, very solid gaming videos alongside his animations. He does awesome animations and he does really good gaming videos. I just recently went through his Minecraft Hardcore Season 5. I just binged the whole thing that was out to that point in one sitting. And bye, Eve. It's so funny. There's one point where he finishes, I don't remember if he finished building the house or the storage area, but you have the little video. It was super early in the morning, or super late at night. I couldn't sleep that night either. But he has the one point where he finishes building something, and then out of nowhere you get the yippee with the little white thing, the little white creature with the confetti. It was the funniest thing. I highly recommend his stuff. He makes really solid animations. He makes really solid gaming videos. It's good. Check him out. Has he been uploading in the last 7 months or live streams? Frog, yes. Me, I did. You just got mangled. And yeah. I love building people up. I love hyping people up. It feels so good. And I love seeing other people succeed as well. It's so nice. It's so nice. And absolutely, Frog, you're doing such a great job. And I very much hope to see your channel continue to grow. So, leave it as a surprise. Okay, we're going to leave the rest as a surprise. We're just going to work on this now. So we do need to bring in a Balloon Boy eventually. But this is what I have for the office lighting, and it's very stinky. There's no blue at the top. There is a very clean line where the office... Oh, boy. Oh, we're lagging. I guess this is to be expected. But there's a very nice clean line where the office lighting ends. So to be able to have him jump out of the darkness with that should be nice. But I really want to redo the lighting in the office bits because this doesn't really work at all. Thank you, Snesquick. I very much appreciate that. But yeah, just whoosh. What I want to do is usually when you have a Withered Foxy jump scare, All they do, they rotate the pelvis forward like 90 degrees. They shoot the legs behind, they shoot the arms forward, and he just flies at the camera. What I want to do with this, and you may be able to hear it in the audio here. Here's another photo of Bella, by the way. She is one of the photos that I have cycling through my wallpapers. I have a bunch of different photos cycling through my wallpapers, but this is my favorite photo of Bella. One of them. You have this one, and then you have this one. Isn't she just the cutest? And then my favorite one, I don't know if it's my favorite, but she's sleeping on the stairs. The little baby. I think that was day one or day 2 that we had her, that I took some of those photos. But what you usually have with a Foxy jump scare, again, is they just rotate him forward and they shoot him at the camera. He's already mid-jump and he's just kind of flying, which is, it's okay. What I want to do is I want to have him in the audio here that I assembled. You can actually hear, it's very faint, but you can hear footsteps coming up, and then he has the jump scare noise. So I'm going to play that audio. If it's a little loud, I apologize in advance. So this is what we're looking at for this session. All I need to do with this session is I need to have some camera movements, and I need to have BB appear. I may... Ooh! That's a nice idea. I've been struggling to figure out how to make BB appear, because he just, like, was looking... He's looking through a vent in the last shot at the player. And with this, he realizes that his flashlight isn't working, and then he sees BB, and BB starts laughing. What I could do is I could have BB... like run out from the side and stand in that position. I really like that idea. I'm just making this up now. But I could have BB come out from the side of the camera and then stand in that position and do his little laugh. I like that. I like that a lot. Because like, I don't want to have him just there out in the open.
And you see him standing at the far end of the hall.
You just have office noises.
Your light at him from time to time.
Phone guy says just flash your light, and then the flashlight doesn't work. And you have a high. And so what I think I'm going to do, I may even rework this in the session, the audio session. He runs out, you have a high. Ooh! I got it! I'm sorry if the clapping was loud, and I'm sorry if the shouting was loud. I have an idea. For the high, you could have, I could have BB, like, poke his head out here. He could, like, get in the player's face. He could be like, hi, and then he runs out, and then he giggles. And then he just stares him down while we're waiting for Foxy. I love that. I really like that. Another question, will you ever do an SFM tutorial? I've wanted to do a tutorial series for a long time. I've wanted to. I think it'd be a lot of fun to just have it in a very fun environment to be... it's the weirdest way to try to describe it. I want to be able to have it fun, and I want to be able to make it engaging, and I want to be able to make it useful. And I don't know where I would start with that. I may start... I don't know if I would start with the 12 principles of animation, because those are extremely important, and I use all of those all the time. I may start with those in a FNAF setting, just to kind of demonstrate. I could use that flip note that I was showing you for the bouncing ball, a demo on that. But I feel like Blender would be better for a tutorial on some of those things, especially with Squash and Stretch, because with Source Filmmaker, the most you can get out of Squash and Stretch is like squatting down for a jump and then doing that jump, because that includes anticipation as well. You have a squat, and that squat is the anticipation of, oh, we're going to go into a big jump. I don't even know if you can see me right now. Yeah, it's fine. That squat is, we're about to jump, and that squat is also my squash, because I'm going to stretch and I'm going to make myself really straight and long to be able to like get that airtime. I need to pump my legs out to be able to actually move. I'm squashing as the squat and I'm stretching when I come back up, and then I'm going to squash a little bit when I come back down. And then the anticipation as well is I am about to jump. I'm going to throw my arms back to send them forward to get more momentum. And that is also follow through and overlapping action as well. Like the principles of animation, you can find so many of them in pretty much any movement that you do. Movement of anything can be considered animation. If you want to get technical, movement of anything can be considered animation. Animators, what we try to do is we make inanimate things seem alive. So stop motion animators, they could take something like a water bottle and they could make it seem alive if done correctly. And that's what kind of that whole thing is there. Like Lego minifigures, they're not alive. But the way that stop motion animators portray them, it makes them feel like living, breathing characters. And the same thing with these, with our 3D animations. And with the 2D animations, you want to make your characters feel alive and you want to make your objects feel like they have some sort of life in them. And that's the whole thing that we're trying to portray, is the illusion of life. Or, no, Bendy, illusion of living. Oh boy. That's the whole purpose behind what we do. Like, if the underlying goal we're trying to achieve is to sell the illusion that this thing has life. And that's what we're trying to do. He does. Will you create animations from source film or jet? I don't know source film or jet. This is source filmmaker. Tell me what applications to create SF animation. So what you need to do, just like Lepumoy, I hope I'm saying that correctly, is saying, is you need to first go to steampowered.com. You need to download Steam, and then after that, you just search for Source Filmmaker. It's totally free. At that point, you will go to the Steam Workshop. I have it bookmarked here. You're going to go to the Steam Workshop, and that contains all of the models that you have at your disposal to animate with. Like, people have been putting a lot of Pokemon models on there recently because that game just came out. But if you search for FNAF or if you search for Bendy, you'll see your FNAF and Bendy models. That stuff like that would be in a tutorial video. Maybe we start out with what animation is, and then start out with like what Source Filmmaker is and how to use it. Flashbacks to university classes right now. Probably use the translation of certain bones to... No, you absolutely can. And Fergie has done this a lot. So with the... oh, hi, Sonic. I wanted to tell you something. And then Freddy, like, slaps her into William Afton, who's sitting in his wheelchair with his big old Pepsi cup. What he did for that is... I'll actually pull that up, because I want to show you what I'm talking about. That's not what I want. YouTube. Funny story while we're doing this. I went to use my Google Voice Assistant on... hold on. Is it... We'll just do that. I don't know where the hyphen goes. If it goes, I think it's after the G. Yeah. Freddy, I want to tell you something. That's the video. So with this...
Hi, Sonic. I've been meaning to tell you something.
So something he did with this animation is you can see the poses in this are phenomenal. But he actually, like this, like poses like this, he takes the hand bones and the arm bones and he stretches them way out. And he rotates them to be able to create that stretch. And like this, you have those arms that are super wonky, and you have the ears that are being stretched out as well. And her leg even looks like it's being stretched out a little bit. And that one, that's a really big one here. And I apologize for those of you who didn't hear earlier. I am very sniffly today. If I need to, I will get tissues. But with this, you can see that arm the bones are super displaced to create that stretch. And this pose right here and like these poses there, that is utilizing the position of bones to execute squash and stretch.
Something.
And it's gonna swear here, but with poses like this as well, I have seen people scale bones like this. So Freddy's leg is way over here. That doesn't line up with the pelvis, so he must have moved that over a little bit. And also with the head, what you can do is you can lean the body forward. You can bring the head closer to the camera, which I think is actually what he did here. I don't remember if he moved the bones or if he scaled them, but it's really prominent with the... Yeah, right here. He scaled, I think. It looks like he scaled them. It might just be closer. But his head is way disproportionate to his body. So it has been scaled or altered in some way. And then with poses like this, he's way back there. His head has been either scaled down or just moved further behind his body. And his hand has been scaled up or moved closer. Like, you can do a lot of fun stuff with that. That doesn't really play into the squash or stretch. And then he has really nice smears in here with this as well. Super nice. I love Fergie stuff. Absolutely one of my top favorite animators. And then she flies into William Afton and blows up. But you can absolutely do that. More scaled. Enjoy doing dumb stuff when Memphis isn't looking at the chat. I come back eventually. Let Epic move. Let Epic groove. All I ask is that you don't spam. You can be silly as long as you're not spamming and as long as you're not swearing. No foul language, no vulgarity, no any kind of sexual themes or connotations or anything like that. And no spamming. That is all I ask from the chat. Anywho, let's actually legitimately get to this animation. And then BB starts laughing. And then you have laughs layered on top of each other. And echoey. And I'm going to have some BB hallucinations in there. And then you can kind of hear Foxy running, boom, 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 boom. And then he jumps.
Have a good night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
It's kind of hard to hear, and I apologize if this is super loud.
Have a good night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
So the plan is to have some kind of rim light or some kind of backlight on Foxy. A very dim one. So that, or some kind of lighting on Foxy so you can see him approaching with the run. And then on his last step, he's going to kick off with that foot to come into the jump scare jump. That's the plan with this. You can be silly. A bit of an odd question. Not entirely sure how to phrase it. But how does one properly apply the 12 principles while animating? Well, let's look at the 12 principles real quick. Alan Becker has a really good tutorial series on the 12 principles. He's the one that does the animation versus animator and animation versus Minecraft. He's the one that does all these videos. And he has a really good playlist on the 12 principles of animation. I thought he did. Alan Becker, 12 principles of animation. Yeah, here it is. It's just one video.
So I decided,
or maybe there is a tutorial, but what we're looking at here,
the legendary animators Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnston. So the first principle is squash and stretch. This is the principle that animated objects will get longer or flatter.
So squash and stretch, I kind of went into a little bit before, is you or any kind of object has a set mass. So if you have a ball, I don't have any balls at my disposal right now, but we'll use, I know one. We'll use this. This rag has a set mass to it. I cannot change the mass. I cannot change the volume of this object. When animating this, you do not want to change the mass or the volume of the object. That just kind of skews with the whole believability of it all. You're going to look at it and you're going to say something's wrong. That just grew or that just shrunk. Like subconsciously, it's not going to sit right. So what we want to do is if we want the rag to jump, and it's a dark rag, and I apologize. So if I'm not able to see this, or if you're not able to see this that clearly, I think what would help is if we made this bigger. Oh boy, now we're too big. I'm going to teach these to the best of my ability. I'm going to teach a couple of them. We're not going to teach all of them today. But squash and stretch. If I want this rag to look like it's jumping, what I'm going to do is I am going to, instead of just having the rag go like this, just up and down, that feels very linear. That feels very robotic. If you want something to feel alive, like I was saying earlier with the jump, when you go to jump, you're going to squat and you're going to throw your arms behind you. That squat is you compressing your body to get ready to expand to be able to make that jump. And so looking at the rag here, what you're doing is you are squatting down, you're bending down, and then when you go to jump, you're going to kick your knees out, you're going to extend your legs, and you're going to jump. Bouncing balls are usually the most utilized teaching method with this. If you have a ball, you're going to squish the ball down, and as I squish this down, you can even see the light on it. It is wanting to go forward. It's wanting to go out, like this chunk here. It is trying to, like, it's conserving that mass. That mass has to go somewhere. So if this goes down, it has to push the extra stuff out. And with a bouncing ball, kind of like what you saw in my flip note earlier, when you have the ball hit the ground, it shoots out and it gets really flat. When you have a water balloon and you like drop it on the ground, assuming it doesn't pop, it's going to spread its mass out everywhere. And then the mass is going to come back and it's going to bounce again, spread, bounce again, spread. That's the whole like squash and stretch is if you are going to make a movement, you have to have ample preparation to make that movement, or you have to have compensation for that movement. And so I know jumping is the only one I've been using, but with that jump, I'm compensating for the amount, or I'm preparing for the amount that I'm going to be using when I'm going to do that jump. So with a FNAF thing, if I wanted to do squash and stretch in a FNAF animation, I could have... Ooh, that's a good one. Let me think about this for a little bit. I'll think about how to use that in a FNAF. What I'm going to be doing with Foxy here is I'm going to have him... He's going to take his last step. He's going to be running down that hall, and then he's going to like get ready to bounce into the jump with the spring. So his whole body is going to compress. It's however much you're going to compress, that's how much you're going to decompress. So if I only squat a little bit, I'm only going to get a little jump out of it. If I squat down a lot, I don't want to hit the ceiling, but I'm going to get a way bigger jump out of a bigger squat. So the more that you give into the squat, the more you're going to get out of the jump. The more you squash something, the more it's going to stretch when it comes back up. Like the bouncing ball, if it hits the ground really hard, it's going to squash way out, and then it's going to stretch when it comes back into the air. And that's a whole conversation for a different day. But with Foxy here, what we're going to do with the squash and stretch, and that's one of the things that's going to be put into this motion, is he's going to squash down. His whole body's going to compress on that last step on this one foot, and you can't see the foot, but it's there. And then he's going to shoot his body out to be able to jump at the player. That's how I would use that in this situation. Bouncing balls squash and stretch is so much easier to do in Blender because you have scale properties for the individual X, Y, and Z of an object. Or you have scaling for the individual X, Y, Z properties of an object. So you can take a ball and you can actually squash it. You can like make it thin, and then you can make it wide, and you can make it deep to compensate for losing the height. If that makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain. But I have some Blender animations that I was going to pull up, but I don't think I'll be able to. Imagine having thoughts. Couldn't be me. Let's look at this one. Loris just sent me a squash and stretch animation that he did at his university. Maybe if it'll load. Literally about to recommend Alan Becker's videos. I don't think I even knew about the 12 principles until just now. Yeah, the 12 principles are they're in everything that you do. You just don't realizing it. You're shaking every time you look at me, bro. Oh boy. Hello. Boom. Rock eyebrow. Big brain time. Example of squash and stretch. Bite of 87. Yeah, you could make that super over the top and super goofy. What you could do is you could have the top jaw and the bottom jaw come in. They latch onto the kid's head, and once they have that resistance, there's still the inertia that needs, or I think it's inertia. You have the movement that still needs to be dissipated. And so what you're going to do is you're going to have the head compress in, and you're going to have the head kind of expand out as it compresses in. It's conservation of mass. If the mass is going down, it can't just vanish. It needs to also separate out. That's what you would do with that, and you would have it come back and like kind of settle. Yeah, this is squash and stretch. So, as Loris is showing us here, thank you for the clip, by the way. You have this character. I'm going to call it a thwomp because it says something about Mario. You have this thwomp, and I don't know if I'll be able to scrub through this. Yeah, I will. So, it starts out with its basic shape. As it gets dropped, it's going to stretch further and further. So, it's kind of elongated as it's stretching, as it's falling. And so what we would need to do there is we need to make it thinner and we need to make it less deep to be able to compensate for that stretch. In our example with the rag here, if we are falling, I don't even know if you guys can still see this. I don't know if no, I didn't. Okay, I did it again. I'll show the rag and then I'll show Loris's video. With the rag, what we need to do if we are falling, we're going to have this at the top, and it's going to kind of expand. It's going to stretch as we're starting to fall. And then once we hit the ground, it's going to compress again, and we need to go back up. But, and you're probably all screaming about that in the chat, but you can't see it. Yep. A thwomp. Okay. What did I call it before? Did I not call it a thwomp? Anywho. Bouncing balls. Oh boy. What year did William Afton die? 7. He died in 2019. The Corona got him. Okay, I did call it a thwomp. Good. So, with our video here, we're starting at the top with our basic shape. And as we fall, oh boy, come back. As we fall, we're starting to get stretched out more and more and more. And as we stretch out on is that the z-axis? As we're going to call it the z-axis. I don't know if I'm right with that. But as we stretch out with the z-axis, the y and the x-axis need to be compressed. Y and x? I don't know. I think that's right. But when we hit the ground, we're going to take all of that mass. He's squashing it down. The bottom of the thwomp has hit the ground, and the top needs to come and follow because we've got. I think it's called inertia. Inertia is a property of matter. Bill Nye, the science guy. We've got the rest of the body is following the base of the thwomp. And as we hit the ground, that mass has to go somewhere, so it can't go down anymore. We're going to go out, and we're going to go, deep. We're going to go out in both directions. Sorry for hitting that. And then it's going to come back up, and all of that mass that has been spread out is going to come back in. That is an awesome demonstration, Loris. Thank you so much. I think I have it pinned in the announcements. Welcome to my animating stream where we're not going to do any animating. Let's see. I think I have it pinned in here. Yeah, I have pictures of Bella. I have the puppet mask. When was that? That was almost no, that was over 3 months ago that we did the puppet mask. Yeah, here's some teaser photos of the puppet mask, by the way. We're in Daco's video. Sonic 2, 24,000. It's somewhere here. An OC that I haven't touched since I revealed it. Worked on a TV show. Yeah, here we go. Here's a good demo of Squash and Stretch that I did. Where are you? There I am. Let's bring the chat into here. Hello? Thank you. So with this, Memphis stream reel? Yes. Stomp, stomp, stomp. Squash and stretch. Bim, bam, boom. One of your first pieces. That's awesome. Inertia is the preservation of motion or lack of motion, I believe. The scene in Front Street where Afton's eyes, yeah, they stretch out. That's a big squash and stretch thing. Hugo is huge on squash and stretch. That is one of his biggest things. That's like one of his trademark things that he does is he squashes and stretches the heck out of his models. And I love it. It's so bouncy and it's very fun. But here, and I think you can see this. Yeah, you can totally see this. With this bouncing ball that I did, with Blender, you have the opportunity to go out in, you can scale it in all directions again. And it is kind of choppy. So as the ball falls, it's starting to stretch out. Especially right there. This is a really exaggerated one. But we've gone really far down, so we needed to close it in on the sides and the front. And then what we do when we hit the ground, we're going to flatten. We're going to get really flat, and the rest of the mass is going to go out in all directions. Especially right there. You can see it's kind of spreading out. And then as we bounce back up, we're going to stretch again at the beginning there. We're taking all that mass and we're bringing it back in. And then it kind of, as it reaches the top. And then it's going to stretch it again. And then it's going to squash again. Stretch. And then as we get towards the end, we're not bouncing as hard. We're not hitting the ground as hard. So we don't need to squash. And since we're not squashing as much, we don't need to stretch it. It is not a private server. I will put a link in it in a bit. The anime SFN. And then after that, I wanted to experiment with a ball with a tail on it. And so I found the ball with the tail. I think this was downloaded from a Blender animation course. Like from Blender. There we go. And so what I was doing with this is I was involving the tail in all this. So I squashed the ball down as it's preparing for that jump. We'll focus on the ball and then we'll do the tail in a minute. You squash the ball down as it's getting ready to do the jump. It goes into the air. It stretches. It preserves that original shape after the stretch. We stretch again as we're coming back down. And then it's just rinse and repeat. We hit the ground. We squash. We stretch as we go back into the air. We preserve our original shape. Yada, yada, yada. With the tail, I have a little wagon here. And so we're doing follow through in it. And it's just called follow through. It's having, if you have a tail wag, you're going to have the base of the tail. You're going to have the end of the tail. And I don't even know if you guys can see this. Yeah, kind of like animating an FK in forward kinematics. You have the base moving first, and then you have the top following. And this is follow through and overlapping action. Overlapping action is actually more, I stop this, and this is going to keep going. Kind of like an antenna. Happy Frog's antenna. in my Fun Frog Facts video is a really good example of this. Go check that out. But with the tail, you have lots of follow through in that. And then I have a little flick just to kind of play with follow through even more. That's what we're looking at there. We will... Can I send an invite? Invite people. Expires after 1 hour. Hey, look, there's Kate. There you go. Okay. It's Shagarak. What's up? Love sketch. High quality content. Lots of bendy stuff and lots of Mando stuff. A lot of fun. Very fun individual. I remember one of the first interactions I had with her is she was playing a kalimba, and I'm like, oh shoot, I have one of those. And I played, I think, the Puppets music box on my kalimba. I will have to get that out later, but it's a lot of fun. Did someone delete Electrobab's message? There's a possibility. And Sketch has been here before. I was literally reading your messages and I did not notice. I feel my brain expanding ever so slightly. Here we go for the animation moment. Yes, we are finally animating. Finally getting to it. So I think what we're going to do, does this feel like a solid pose? Do we need a... the session might get a little bit loud as well. I think what I'm going to do, set volume. We'll put this to 50. If you didn't know you could change the volume of a clip, you do now.
It was called a system restart or something.
Yeah, that's a little better. If anything, and I apologize for being sniffly again, if anything is too loud or too quiet, by all means let me know and I can kind of mess with it. Arias, cool guy, very cool. Sometimes you're a cool animator. Thank you. No, you're not. I'm gonna send you a whip, unless you want otherwise. You can absolutely send me a work in progress. I would love to see what you're working on. So with this,
Anyway, I'm sure it won't be a problem.
what I'm gonna do is, since I don't know where I want the run to start from, I know where I want him to come from. So I'm gonna plant him where the jump will start on that last step. I'm gonna plant him there. Then we're going to animate the jump scare, and then we're going to work backwards, and we're going to do the run after that.
Have a good night, and I'll
So you have a step, and then there's nothing, because he's jumped at that point, and then you have the scream, so his jaw will open up, and he'll yell. I wish I could stay to see a master work, but I gotta go for the day. Enjoy the rest of the stream, guys. I'm so sorry that we're getting to this right as you're leaving, Frog, but have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for being here. Once again, I highly recommend going and checking out his content. He's a very fun guy. It was good content. Why, thank you very much. So we're gonna look for the last step. So right there. That's about where our contact is. And so what we're going to do, I really like this pose. So we're going to hit this button. I don't even know if you can see what buttons I'm hitting. No, you can't quite. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put myself up here because you guys don't need to see the chat. I think that should be fine. That should be totally fine. So I'm going to put... Yeah, because I want to show you guys these as well. So we'll put you down here, actually. We'll put me down there. And what we'll do from here, yeah, you can see everything from there. Awesome. What we're going to do, I'm going to click on Foxy. I like this pose, and so I'm going to mark it. I'm going to mark all of the bones in their current position with this button. And that creates a keyframe on every single one of these bones. What a keyframe does is... it is a note of where a bone is at a point in time. So if we take his mouth and we put another keyframe somewhere else in the timeline, this is our timeline, this is where the movement happens. If we take his jaw and we want to rotate it, it's automatically going to make another keyframe whenever I move a bone. And so it has a keyframe logging when the mouth is closed and when the mouth is open. I think it should. Yeah, there we go. Maybe. It's being buggy now. I don't know why it's being buggy, but... Or maybe that's just where I had it originally. No, that's not. Interesting. So, I think I've gotten to the point... Yeah, it's not... Sometimes Source does this. It's gotten to the point where it's not letting me make a movement, and I don't know why. So, we'll kind of take our keyframes back this way. And that's just a bug that you kind of have to deal with. That's why a lot of people don't like Sources, because it's got a lot of bugs. But if we take our keyframe with the open mouth... If anyone knows how to fix that, by the way, please let me know. I'll just get to a certain point, and then it will not let me move anything. It won't let me register any movements. Like if I show you here, maybe. Is it just this keyframe? Yeah, it's just that keyframe. So can I make a movement here now, and it'll register? No, it's around this area here. It's around the 30-second mark. Or not 30, 10. But you just copy the model and paste. Oh my gosh. Who said that? Who said that? Infected Broland. You are amazing. Thank you so much. So, what we did there, so much thank you to Infected Broland. But what you do if you can't move a model after a certain point, just copy and paste it and it suddenly works. Awesome. Deleting the samples in the motion editor and then playing it again. Are we in the motion editor? No, this is the graph. That's the motion editor. Okay. So with that, would you just default it or zero it or playhead it? What would you recommend for that, Ari? S2FM, doesn't that one have some kind of like paid thing that you need to get for it? It like leeches off of some other program that you need to buy. And I think that's the reason why I haven't gotten it yet. Anyway, keyframes. You have a keyframe for the open mouth saying, hey, at this point in time, the mouth is going to be in this position. And another keyframe saying at this point in time, the mouth is going to be in this position. And in between those keyframes, you have movement. You have animation. And so that's all animation is placing a bajillion individual keyframes to get your movement. And so what we're going to do, since we like this pose, we're going to make a keyframe for all the bones in the character. Oh my goodness. I may actually go get that box of tissues. We're going to make a keyframe for all the bones in the character. We're going to find where we want to start. There's my step. And we're going to put this keyframe kind of after where we're trying to get to. And it's lagging. Watch it crash. Source Filmmaker loves to crash. Okay, no, we're good. So since this is the jump after that step, I'm going to put those keyframes a little bit after. And what we're going to do at this point is we're going to put him on the floor. We're going to put his foot onto that ground. And at this point, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take his leg and I'm going to put it into... Do I put it into an IK constraint yet? Because what that'll do, what an IK constraint does, is when you load a model in by default, how you move their bones, you have, for the legs at least, you have the hip, you have the knee, and then you have the foot. And when you want to move the leg, you got to move all three of those. With IK, what you do is you have a handle on the foot that you can grab and move around. And you have a little handle for the knee. So if I move the foot here, I can position where the knee is going to kind of be placed after that point. It's different. It sounds very similar, but it's different, I promise. And I'll show you later. But if I put it into an IK constraint, I guess I could lock it to the pelvis if I needed to. Or I could take off. Okay, yeah. We'll do that. Just for the sake of the run. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it into... This is a thing you could download from the Steam Workshop. You can put it into an IK constraint. And that'll change my leg from an IK leg into an FK leg. Or from an FK leg into an IK leg. Forward kinematics means you're working forward down the limb. You're working from the hip to the knee to the foot. Inverse kinematics means you're working backwards. You're working from the foot to the hip. So I have my foot bone, which will affect my knee bone, which will affect my hip bone. And then I have the handle for the knee, and I can decide where I want it to be placed after that point. That's what IK does. And I think I'm going to put it into IK. Yeah, we can see. And yes, the stuff that goes in between the keyframes are in betweens. Thank you, Sketch. Sounds like a skill issue. I can just not do. YouTube emotes. Oh, is that what this thing is? Okay. As Loris and Ido, it is all up to personal opinion. It is completely whatever you prefer. That is what you can use. We do not have to belittle each other or fight because we like different things. That is a reason to celebrate that we like different things. If we all liked the same thing, the world would be a pretty boring place. I don't mean to sound like a dad or a parent here. I don't mean to sound like I'm scolding you guys. I don't know. I like Blender and Source. The only reason I'm not using Blender is because I'm more comfortable in Source, and my computer struggles running it. Both are very awesome programs. Source Filmmaker is definitely a little more friendly to beginners. It has a bit of a less steep learning curve. Blender definitely has a higher learning curve, but once you've once you've kind of got down what Blender has to offer, it's pretty smooth sailing. There's just a lot to get down at that point. With Source Filmmaker, it's like, here's animation. It's do it here. Blender is here's animation. So you have to learn both of those. With Blender, you can also do modeling and sculpting and texturing and yada, yada, yada. There's just so much more that Blender has to offer. Source Filmmaker, if I can words today, excuse me, is easier from the get-go. Blender is a little more tough from the get-go, but it offers more possibilities and it has more potential than Source. Source Filmmaker is an incredible program, and I've seen people freaking master it. I've seen people use it to its full potential, and it's so good. Blender, I've seen people use that in very awesome ways as well. I'm not doing a very good job articulating my thoughts. They're both good programs. In the right hands, they can both be incredible tools. They are that. They are tools in your tool belt, and the more tools that you have, I feel like the better off that you'll be. I would definitely recommend checking out Blender. I started with Source. I've dabbled with Blender. They're both great. I'm just repeating the same thought over and over and over again. Source Filmmaker's great. Blender's great. Use whatever you want. P3D is Prisma 3D? I've seen a little bit of that. I don't know too much about that program. Maya. That one is expensive. Yeah. SFM is perfect. Too dumb for Blender. You are not too dumb for Blender. You are not dumb. We do not appreciate... I do not appreciate when people talk down on themselves. You are very intelligent. You are very smart. It's just you don't quite understand Blender yet. And that is totally fine. SFM is awesome. It's perfect for me as well. It gets the job done. SFM fused with Blender. SFM is a great beginner software, yes. If you want to start doing 3D animation, I would recommend starting with, I don't know. I'd recommend starting with whichever one you want because they're both good. They both do pretty much the same thing. They just have a different way of doing it. Absolutely. So what we're going to do is, where did the rest of my keyframes go? So when you have a bone that you put into IK, you lose all of the keyframes for that bone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to that step. I just made new keyframes. Okay. I'm going to go here and I'm going to start posing Foxy into this, like the squat to jump. And what I'm going to do to be able to see everything easier, I'm going to go into progressive refinement settings. So I just right click, I hit render settings, and I'm going to check the ambient occlusion box. You can see everything went darker. Ambient occlusion is like smart shadows. So when something is close to another object, the one that's on top is going to cast shadows on the one that's on the bottom. And if I have objects that are really close here in my armpit, the cloth is going to cast shadows on each other. And you can see that here on the top of the leg. On Foxy's pants, you can see that happening around the hip. You can see it happening around all of his teeth. Ambient occlusion is just smart shadows. If I check for outline only, I'm just going to get outlines around everything. They're kind of hard to see, but that's how you can get really fun toon stuff, toon shaded things. If I check both, I'll have outline and ambient occlusion. The cool thing you can do at this point, after you have AO and outline selected, you can click on this box that says show ambient occlusion, and boom, everything is literally black and white now. Everything is so much easier to see. So instead of trying to fight for my attention with the black monitor and the black leg, I can see both of them clear as day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring his pelvis back because he's lunging forward. And we're just going to kind of experiment with it a little bit. We're going to figure out where is a good place to put the foot. Where do we want him to start this jump from? And I'm probably going to go even further back. We're just looking for a nice place to start from. That's cool. I really like this pose. I really like this pose. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have him, I'm going to turn the torso as well. And so when he jumps, his torso is going to come out like this, and he's going to like put the arm up, and then he's going to, I don't know if I want him to swing his hook at the camera or if I want him to like lunge his eyes toward the or his face towards the camera. But we'll figure it out. Okay. We're doing the leg. That's right. My apologies. So we're going to find, and I don't think you can move his toes on this. If I can move his toes, I would prep him for when you go to jump. You kind of, when you take a step, if my fingers are the proxy toes here, you're going to bend on, you're going to put your weight onto those toes, and then you kick off with that. That's what I would do with characters that I can move their toes on. With Foxy here, we will have a flat foot, and then we'll just kind of roll on the edge of the toes, and that'll be our kick. It's not as visually, visually appealing. It's not as legitimate. It's not as realistic. That's my word. It's not as realistic as having movable toes, but it'll do. So I'm just looking for a spot that I think feels good, and we're gonna move him over this way. I think we're gonna move the hip as well. So if I'm going, and a lot of times when I'm doing animation, I will go and I will actually like act out what I'm doing. I can't record reference footage I can record reference footage, But in other programs, you can actually import your reference footage and you can just replicate it frame for frame, and you can actually see what you're doing in real time. With me, I like to just act out what I'm doing and then go from there. You guys can still hear me, right? This is a pretty, yeah, you can still hear me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of figure out where I want. So he's jumping off of his left leg. So I'm going to figure out if I'm going to jump off of my left leg, how is this going to go? Where's my pelvis going to be? Where's my body going to be? Where is XYZ going to be? How is my foot going to be rotated? It's just kind of figuring out everything that's going into this pose. And so if I'm getting ready to jump, I need my pelvis rotated the opposite way of where it's rotated now. I need to be able to have the hip popped on the leg that's making contact to the ground. So I need that hip rotated to where it's popped. And then as I jump, I'm going to rotate the hip to where it is now, to where it is down, facing that leg, facing that knee. So what we're going to do, we're going to just use what we just got. We're going to rotate, we're going to pop that hip on that knee. And if I need to, I can even go back and I can re-reference that. So I'm going to pop that hip and I'm going to, I don't know if I'm rotated pretty straightforward. I may be rotated a little bit counterclockwise. And then I am directly above, a little bit behind the ball of my foot. So my butt is right above my heel. And so we want to put Foxy's butt right above his heel as well. There we go. And we can totally exaggerate things if we need to. And my hip was rotated a little counterclockwise. So we'll do that. And so that's kind of where that puts us. And at this point, we need to move this leg because we're running. And if I'm chewing gum right now, if I'm being too noisy with that, by all means, let me know. Heathens remake, Fredbear Films real. When he runs, since he's down so low, we need to kick his leg out to the side. And when I make tutorial videos, if that does end up being a thing, I will go into this more in depth. But I feel like this is wonky. Something's wonky. Whoa, that's kind of cool. Turn off the ambient occlusion to see exactly what we're looking with. If the eye wasn't like posed up, that may be a cool photo or a cool poster. Like something utilizing a pose like this. And obviously you'd have to workshop it a little bit, but just figuring out little things like this. Source is really efficient for animating Team Fortress 2 characters. Yeah, definitely. He is squashing. Yeah, this is what we were talking about earlier. I've seen so many people animate so much random stuff with Spring Bonnie, where the subject of the animation is so removed from FNAF that it would make more sense to use TF2 characters. I see that as well. I don't see too much of that, but I do see a good amount. So this is kind of our squash, and then our stretch is... Yeah, especially with this leg that just kicked off of the ground, you can really see, if we exaggerate it, he's squashed here. And then it stretches way out as he jumps. And we'll refine that. But that's what we're looking at. And we can take this away. Okay. And from here, I thought you were dead. Me too. It's been a while. Uploads have been very scattered because work this year has been crazy. I worked at a gas station for the first couple months of the year. I worked at a gas station until May. Yeah, the end of May. And then I was working at my local Petco as a dog trainer until a couple of weeks ago. And now I have some free time to actually work on this stuff again. I put out, I think, 3 videos this year. I have maybe only 2. I know there's the This Hell collab part from Shadro. There's the Fun Frog Facts and You Just Got Mangled, which You Just Got Mangled is one of my like favorite videos. This Hell was 8 months ago. Okay, so it was this year. Yeah. So you've got these 3, these 2. I guess the about that new FNAF meme review, that's kind of a video. Then you've got You Just Got Mangled. This is one of my favorite videos that I've ever done, just because it's so fun. It's so bouncy. I love animating the Mangle. The Mangle is one of my favorite characters in FNAF, and I really enjoy it. The Never Be Alone collab part for Blaze, that is another one of my favorite videos. And then, of course, Counting Sheep. But I have not been too active as of late, and I really apologize for that. I'm hoping to have a more steady upload schedule now that we have like college. We have a lighter load with college, and I can put an animation schedule around that in between classes as well. I have the rest of this month, and I apologize if that clap was loud. I have the rest of this month to animate stuff, and we'll just figure it out. We'll figure it out as we go. But I'm hoping to be more active now, because I have not been really thriving in that area. I am not working at Petco anymore. Petco and I have parted ways. Yeah. A lot of you aren't going to know what he's talking about, but I got to hold a snake. It was a coworker's pet snake, and we put a little hat on him, and it was adorable. Not working on a Heathens remake until I get a remix for it. That is very valid. You can see if Tyson wants to do a remix. He's got a pretty booked schedule for his own remixes that he's working on. He mentioned maybe doing a Mechanical Instinct remix when he was working on Our Little Horror Story, which Horror Story sounds phenomenal so far, but he mentioned a Mechanical Instinct remix, and I think that would be amazing. That would be freaking incredible. My thoughts on Breaking Bad. I have not seen it. I've seen a butt ton of memes, and I've got a brother who is obsessed, who just watched through the entire thing. I know that it is about a teacher who cooks drugs, and that's about it. I've seen the memes. I've seen the one where I think a bathtub falls on him, and he like falls into the floor or something, and he's like screaming. I've seen the one where he falls into the sand and he starts crying. He's holding the phone and he starts yelling at it. I've seen all there's an edit that has been going around lately. It's a Hell's Kitchen with Walter White. It is the funniest freaking thing. He's trying to get a fly and he throws himself into a fridge. It's the greatest thing. Howdy doody, Anime Bro. Thoughts on Hoshi? Like Hoshi Woshi? Like Hoshi the animator? From what I remember, from what I can think of right now, my memory's a little whack. But from what I can think of at the moment, good stuff. If I'm remembering correctly, Hoshi makes some pretty solid animations. I'll have to go back and check. But Counting Sheep 2023, since spending the Dark Revival. Maybe, if I have access to maps. If maps are out by that point, we may look into that. Keep apologizing, you're not too loud. Okay. Thank you, Sketch. Yeah, he mentioned Mechanical Instinct. Loris's question here, or Loris's comment. He mentioned Mechanical Instinct when he was trying to decide, do I do Mechanical Instinct or Horror Story? And he went with Horror Story, and I don't think he's touched Mechanical Instinct at all, but I would love that. So many people would animate a Mechanical Instinct remix if he did something like that. People love animating his content. I would love to I've done some of his content. I would love to do a music video like Loris does. I would love to help out with that. Just make some idle animations or make some looping. That's what they're called, looping animations, and have some fun, get creative with it. He's got planned, yeah. He's got a couple of songs that are planned out. You've seen the edit, good. You have to animate your own song for clout. Heck yeah. Quick question: have you ever watched Stranger Things? So yes, I watched the first 3 seasons, and I've been attempting to watch season 4 with my girlfriend. We have been really struggling getting back to that. We were really solid with that one for a couple of weeks, and then we just stopped watching it, and we have not been able to get that back up and running. And with me going to college in a different town that is an hour away from her, we may not get that opportunity, so I may have to finish watching it on my own. But it's a good show. It's a solid show. I really enjoy it. Very spooky. I remember when I was first watching it, like the first season and the second season, it spooked me. It spooked me good. Very spooky show. And just because I work for him and you're good friends. Yeah, he's from what I've heard, Hugo has talked about him a lot, and he sounds like a solid guy. He just feels like a really good guy. He feels like a stud. He feels like just like a Chad, like an awesome guy. Weird flex, but okay. Is it hard to animate? That really depends on who you ask, and it really depends on how long you've been doing it. I have been animating for over a decade. I started out with this guy, with the DS. I have been animating now for over a decade. And at this point, I would say animating is moderately easy. For me. It really depends. Because if you're trying to animate a walk cycle for the Mangle, that is incredibly difficult. If you're trying to have BB shove open a door, that's kind of hard. If you're trying to animate a walk or a run cycle, that's a little challenging. If you're doing looping animations or idle animations, or if you those ones are a little bit easier. I would say animation it's moderately easy. You do have pretty difficult things like what I just listed through, but most of it is just muscle memory, and it's just it just clicks. I can zone out to it, and it's really nice. If you have someone, let's not choke on the water. If you have somebody who you sit them down for the first time in front of Source Filmmaker, you say animate, they are going to say it is, they're never going to say it's easy at that point. But if you take your time, if you spend long enough on it, if you actually devote yourself to it, it gets easier. It does get easier. And if you actually learn why you're doing the things that you're doing, like the 12 principles, and you apply those, that helps out a lot. It's just a time thing. The more that you mess with it, the more you're going to understand how it works, and the more it's going to come easily to you. I don't think everyone will care about, but goodbye. I hope you all have a good life and good time on the stream. We care about you, Papa. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for stopping by. Hello, Dago. Literally is a chat. That is good to hear. Love to hear that about him. So back to this. If we want the torso to swing out, we got to put it the other way for this step. And even kind of with this, I may even just do something like that for now. I may rotate the pelvis forward a little bit. If you didn't know this already, you can shift click on these controls here on the position and rotation, or you can, hold on, is it shift R, control R? Yeah, and if you hit shift W or shift E on your keyboard, or just shift click these guys, the buttons, you can get a global anchor point. you can get a global rotation or a global position. So if I'm looking at this regularly, my rotation is kind of skewed. If I go to rotate him forward, it's also going to put him on a bit of a diagonal because of just the way that he's facing right now. If I want to move the pelvis totally forward and not have any diagonal movement in there, I can do Shift E. You have Q, W, E, R on these keys. Those are the hotkeys that are assigned to it. You can go Shift E, or I can Shift click on the rotation here, and that'll give me global rotation. So that red line, that axis, is now standing straight up. The blue line is straight across, and I can move him forward, and it's just going to move him forward and back along that axis. If I'm moving it on the local rotation, which is what it gives you by default, if I'm locally rotating his axis there, it's going to be a bit skewed on that diagonal. But if I'm globally rotating it, everything is just going to move forward. That's a cool little tip for you guys. Yo, it's the guy. He's here. What's up, Tyson? How do I do this? Add moderator. Boom. It's so good to have you here, dude. So good. Has anyone ever eaten at Arby's? We have an Arby's in town, here where I live. I enjoy it. I tried their strawberry lemonade for the first time a while back, and that was very yummy. So if we're looking at this, I just want to move his whole pelvis forward just a little bit, just to give him a little bit more oomph on that. When you run, you naturally kind of lean forward a little bit, and that's what I want to mimic here. I want Foxy to lean forward a little bit as he's running. And we'll take the neck and we'll kind of adjust that. I may even put the pelvis back, or the spine back a little bit. And with that, I was trying to move the spine, and I was still on that global rotation. If I want just local rotation, I can just hit the E key, and I can move him locally. And we'll move... Yeah, the neck is now locally moved. So I was trying to move the neck as well, and it was doing it on my global rotation axis. I can hit E, and I can just have a local rotation axis. Have I set you to mod? Okay, I think I did that before and it didn't work, but what I want from the neck is usually you don't run with your head like this, with your neck in that position. So I'm going to put him a little bit more forward. I'm going to take his head bone as well, and I'm going to prep him for that jump. And so what I can do at this point is I can make his head face forward. So he's going to be, if we look at this jump, his head is going to be turned clockwise a little bit. If we're looking at him, it's clockwise. If he's looking at us, it's counterclockwise. So I'm going to get ready for that. If we're going into this, we're going to start... I guess we're going to lean our head a little bit in the opposite direction. And then once it hits that, or maybe, I don't know. We'll figure that out later. We'll see what looks more natural. For now, I'm gonna... I don't know. A lot of what I do is just kind of making it up as I go. So what I'm doing right now is I am creating a key pose. I am creating a very, how do I describe this? I'm creating a very drastic, a very exaggerated, a very important pose for Foxy here. And what I can do at that point is I could go and I could create a key pose on every step of his run. And at that point, you just have movement here, movement here, movement here, movement here. And what you can do at that point is you can do what Sketch was talking about earlier. You can add the in-betweens to that movement, and then you have a fluid motion. Instead of just having foot, 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 you have the foot lifts and it sets down, and it lifts and it sets down. If you block it out ahead of time, you say, these are where all of my steps are, and then I'm going to animate the running in between. That is called pose-to-pose animation. You have your step pose, you have your step pose, you have your step pose. If I am doing straight ahead animation, I'm going to put Foxy at the start of his run, and I'm just going to make it up as I go along. I'm going to say, hey, I want this foot to go this way, and then I want it to land here, and then we're going to move this one to there, and then we're going to move this one to there, and I'm just going to go from start to finish all the way. I'm just going to go. I have no references. I have no key poses. It's just I am animating as I'm animating freely. Right now, this is kind of blocking. This is what we're doing. We're making a key pose, and we're going to be able to use that later. I'm going to actually go in, and I'm going to decide where I want all of his steps to be. With a bigger motion like this that takes up an entire shot, you do want to block it out. If you have a little motion that... subtle movements, that's a really good way to do... that's a really good opportunity to get some... straight ahead animation in. Because if I can block out some parts, I can block out where the hips are going and where the body's going. But if I want to like sway the arms or something, that's where I would use straight ahead. Because I don't know, I just don't see a necessity for blocking at that point. I do need to get better at blocking as well. I usually do straight ahead. All of you just got mangled with straight ahead. This is a really good thing here to do straight ahead with. I kind of do a mixed one, I guess. I'll show you both of them in here because I did a little bit of blocking and I did a little bit of straight ahead. I'm so sniffly. I'm sorry. So with this, I figured out where I wanted her to go, where I wanted the Mangle's head to be, and then I kind of just animated straight ahead to get to that point. Same thing with the endo. And then on this, I figured out where the pelvis was going. I blocked that out. I want it here, and then I want it to go over there. I want it to go back. I want it to go over there. It's a looping animation, so it's very easy here. So I have the pelvis moving side to side. And then I'll animate in between that. And I'll animate the arms. I know that this arm on the side that's doing this is straight ahead. I was like, okay, I have an arm here. Then I need it to go there. And that's following the pelvis. So I'm just going to animate it straight ahead. And I'm just going to go, I animate it as I go. Mangle's head here is a mixture of IK and FK. So what is attached to the back of her skull, that limb and the limb underneath it are IK. And then the limb with the bow tie and the limb that's attached to the spine are FK. And so I am blocking out where Mangle's head is going. And then I'm just FKing it to have it sway and bob after that point. And it's a mixture. It's very hard to describe. It's like I didn't have emotion and then I had emotion. That's kind of how it goes. Let's see this. So if I want his arm to swing out, I need to prep for that swing by having it go in. I have the elbow bent in, and then I'll have it swing out for that jump. So I'll bring his elbow in. And if I need to, I can even bring it in closer to his body. I may do that because I'll do something like this. And then the torso is going to swing out like this. And at that point, I can have this follow that and do something like that. I can have the thing follow the other thing and then do the thing. So IK rigs are what I have going on with the foot here. IK is you have one control and it's affecting the entire rest of the limb. FK is what is going on with his arms. So you have a shoulder bone, an elbow bone, and a hand bone. When I would use, I usually FK arms. 9 times out of 10, I will FK an arm. The time when I IK an arm is if they're holding an object. The Freddy models usually come with the microphone attached to the hand in FK, so I don't have to worry about doing that. But if I wanted to make Bonnie hold his guitar, and I wanted the guitar to move with the, like I wanted to move the guitar with the body and have his arms still be attached, that's when I would use FK, or IK. A better example would be Glamrock Freddy's microphone. I'll be right back. I have a good example. No, it's in the garage upstairs. I don't have it. We'll use the water bottle here. So if I am doing this in FK, to get from here to there, I have to go in and I have to I don't know what the word is. I have to very painstakingly make that a fluid motion with the FK arm. I have to move the shoulder, then I have to move the elbow, then I have to move the hand. And it's just a very long, elaborate process. If I make the arm IK, I make this arm IK, I lock them both to the water bottle. So now I move the water bottle and they follow suit. Then that becomes a very, okay, we're getting lifted up now. With big props, with weapons, and with microphones, and with guitars, and with cups, and with anything that a character needs to hold, typically you will IK the hand. You will IK the arm, and that will just make it easier to, well, usually. It's all situational. Another thing that you would IK an arm for is if they're leaning on something. If I'm leaning on a table, my hand has to stay in that same place, and I'm going to IK the hand so that it doesn't move with the body. And I'll lock the IK'd hand to the table, and I can move the body around, and the hand's going to stay there, and the elbow will be adjusted by it. And it's just how that works. I'm just info dumping everything on you guys. And then with you have the left leg go forward, so the left arm has to go back. Whatever, excuse me, with a walk and a run, whatever leg is forward, the opposite arm is forward. So our right leg on Foxy here is preparing to come forward. So our left arm has to be making that forward as well. Has to be preparing to go forward. So we're back. It's the weirdest thing to try to explain. The left foot just made contact, so the left hand was just behind him. That's how I'll explain that. I think he would be super fun to cosplay. Withered Foxy's just a cool character. Like, there's the... How do I explain this? You have your scary characters, like the nightmares. You have your... some people fall... I was going to say you have your attractive characters, but I didn't want to sound like I was attracted to any of the characters, because I'm not. You have these different types of characters, and Withered Foxy is just a cool character. That's his category that I put him in. He's a cool character. I think he'd be a lot of fun to cosplay. So you have this arm that's going to come up and reach for him, so we can just go straight forward with that. Maybe bring this down a little bit as well. And again, a lot of this is just animating as you go. Withered Foxy is that one bad A character, yeah. He's a cool character. He just looks cool. His design is so awesome. I've noticed a trend with the FNAF characters that I like. I like all the Bonnies. Original Bonnie, Toy Bonnie, Withered Bonnie, Springtrap, and Nightmare Bonnie. I love all of those Bonnies. The Bonnies are usually really solid with me. And then I like the characters with the long snouts full of teeth. I love Monty. I love the Foxies. It's just the long snouted teeth characters I really like. And it's because I have a dream shot that I want to animate. A dream shot of mine is to have either a cosplay or an animated character, maybe both, Monty Supremacy, thank you, have, and I can show you, I did a little miniature of Monty. I 3D printed a little mini Monty just because I was testing out my printer and I wanted to see what I could do with it. You have a little guy, because that's how he talks. He is a little guy. But there's the guy. He's super hard to see. All my filament, all my material is black because when you're sanding it, the darker your filament is, the easier it is to see where you've sanded already. It's really hard to, like with this white mug, this was my first spool of material that I ever got. It's really hard to figure out where you've sanded already, and that makes just the finishing process a lot harder. With a black print, perfect example. I made a mini version of my glitch trap head when I was testing it to figure out how I wanted it to go. You can see the black is very, very easy to figure out where you have sanded. You have a very clean line here. Right there. That is our clean line from where I was sanding one half. It's very, very easy to tell where you're going. Some parts of that mug, that handle is sanded and you can't tell because it's all white. It is a Lego mug. Yeah. This was one of my first projects ever. My first one. I don't know where it is. I think it's in my room. It's somewhere around here. No, I see it. I see it right there. Let me go grab it. What? We're good. I dropped it. So I haven't glued this together yet, and the pieces like fell apart. That's what happened. But this was my first thing ever that I printed on my printer. It is a Lego lightsaber. It's awesome. I made it a little too small, so I'm thinking I might want to eventually go and remake it so that this part here, this part, I can fit my entire palm around that, because I can only get like 3.5 fingers around it. But that was my first thing ever, and it printed in all of these individual parts. So that's a part. That's a part. I'll just point to them. That's a part. That's a part. That one, that one, that one. This whole rod is a part. These little spike things, those are individual parts, and that was an individual part. So it's not glued together, so it falls apart a lot. But this was number one. I made a little Megabot from Big Hero 6. I haven't painted it yet, so it's just a bunch of pieces that kind of look like Megabot. But I'll finish that one eventually, and it's got cute little magnet holes in it. But the Lego mug, this was another project of mine that I did. And I was going to have it where it was to be like an actual drinking mug, and I want to do that eventually. But I don't know how to prepare prints to be safe for food and for drinks and to be able to put your mouth on them and all that. So I'm using it as a pen holder for now. It is a pen and marker holder, and it's awesome. Eventually I'm wanting to paint this red, like that classic Lego red, and it's dope. I have some Iron Man stuff that I want to do. I want to make a full Iron Man suit. I think that'd be awesome. I have a Mandalorian helmet that is too big for me. I have glitch trap. I have a big sword that I've been making for my dad. I've been making a sword as a Christmas present for him, and I'm thinking I might not actually get to finish that because it is very cold here right now. I live in Utah. It's almost Utah winter, and at this point, it has gotten too cold to use spray paint, and I was gonna paint the whole thing silver, and I can't do that. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is make a little miniature, hand paint it, and then finish the big one once it's warmer, like in the spring or something, and just give it to him then. But it's cool. It's huge. Like it's a full scale, like it's a He-Man sword. It's awesome. But with the snouted characters that I was talking about earlier, like you have I really like to make the characters that I animate think. I like to say, what's their thought process here, and how can I execute that, and how can I portray that? I'll get the Mandalorian helmet in a minute. But with a character with a big snout like this, like Monty or with it Foxy or something like that, to have the snout protruding from a doorway or from a corner, you just see the snout and you can like hear sniffing and you can like the jaws moving a little bit and you can see that it's thinking. And I don't, it's the weirdest thing to try to describe. It's hunting. That's what it's doing. You can very easily tell that it's hunting. And that's what I want to portray with some of those shots. Let me get that helmet. I need to get a 3D scan of my head because I've made helmets that are too small. This Iron Man helmet is too small. And then I've made helmets that are way too big, like this Mando helmet. It's like a bobblehead. It's cool, don't get me wrong. It's just, it does not fit me. I think it would look silly and goofy with a Mandalorian costume. It would look like a bit of a bobblehead. It's so big. Anywho. Yeah. Mando would be fun to cosplay as well. I want to get into cosplay. I think there'll be a lot of fun, and having the printer here to make cosplay pieces, very, very fun. Very, very exciting. But yeah, Mark III, in the original Iron Man, after like he builds the one in the cave, and then he builds the silver one, and then he paints the silver one. That's what I want to do. The painted version of the silver one. That's the Mark III. The one that like goes to the town and blows up all the weapons. He like blows up the tank and you have the slow motion shot of him walking away. That's the suit that I want to do. And I've been following this guy that's been making a Mark III on Instagram. He goes by, I think it's Nathaniel 3D. Highly recommend checking him out. My jaw is sore from chewing that gum. A gladiator helmet, yeah. That'd be cool. I've depleted my water source. All right, we have been streaming for what? 3 hours, and we've gotten absolutely no animating done. 2 hours, maybe. Let's do this. If I'm looking, I don't need to worry about anything with his eyes yet because those will be animated later. And then I think I want to put his head down a little bit because he's prepping to throw it forward. We definitely need to close his jaw because he hasn't started screaming. If y'all have any questions about anything, by all means, ask them. I love doing Q&As with you guys. We have not started screaming, so the jaw doesn't need to be open. And I may even put the head down a little bit more. And once we have a solid pose, you're going to head out? All right. I don't plan to keep streaming for too much longer because I need to eat lunch. And it is 2 o'clock. It's going on 2:30. So I think I'm going to get a really solid pose here and then I'm going to end the stream. But I will see you later, Loris. Thank you so much for stopping by, for hanging out for so long. And I will absolutely be texting you later. I know I haven't been the best about that and I apologize. But John Lanty! Oh, what's up? Hello. We're just working on some... It has been a while since I've done anything on YouTube. But we are working on a BB Voice Lines collab part for Freddy Animator 97. And... interesting. I don't know. Thoughts? None. The new animation you've been working on that you've been teasing, I don't remember if it's called You Can't Hide 2, but it looks awesome. Anywho. See you, Lars. Good to see you, John Lancy. Yeah, I have got to go eat in a little bit, and so what I'm planning on doing is I'm gonna get a really solid key pose down. The plan is to have him run down this hallway and then jump into the jump scare. And so I think I'm going to get a really nice solid pose down here, and I'm really liking what this is looking like. And then go eat and maybe stream again later. I don't know. Let's take a look at this. Boom, boom. Okay. And so all I have going on right now is exactly what we were looking at earlier when I was showing you what keyframes were. Thank you so much. You too. The keyframes, you have a motion logged at this point in time, and you have a motion logged at that point in time. I haven't gone through and refined any of this yet. So you're just getting the computer or the program. It's trying to say, okay, we're going from this to this. What is the straightest path to get there? And so that's what we're kind of looking at. There's a lot of refinement that goes into this, but that is what we're eventually going to get into. And I think for that, if we're going to kick off that way, we're kicking off way to the right, or he's kicking off way to his left. So I need to have the pelvis more towards the left. So when he kicks off, he does go flying in that direction. And I think I do need to move this foot more so that it's more in line with what we have already. Right now, it's just figuring out what works, what looks good, and then you refine. If you refine all of your little details and then you figure out it doesn't even look good from point A to point B, you have to go and you have to either do everything again or you just have to accept what you got. And I like to make sure that everything looks nice beforehand, just in case. And so that's kind of what we're looking at for that jump scare. And I'm pretty happy with that. I might even rotate this foot a little bit to match the rotation that we've got going on back here. And then you can kind of see what I was talking about with this arm that swings out and with this hand that reaches forward. And I might move this down a little bit. No, it needs to stay up. So what we need to do is... what do we need to do there? We'll figure it out later. I'm really happy with... look at how much animating done. Look at how much... you can't see the screen. I did it again. Look at me go. I am so good at this, guys. So I just did some micro adjustments from before. Did you see any of me posing Foxy at all, or was that totally taken up by this? I'm so good at this. What I did is I put him here. I put his foot on the ground. Thank you so much, by the way, for telling me about this. But we kind of had him moved kind of close to this, I would assume, before. All I did was I put his foot on the ground. I adjusted his hips from what we were looking at when I was acting out the pose. You got to go eat dinner. I got to go eat lunch. We're going to be ending this in a little bit. Thank you for stopping by, Infected Broland. But what he's doing now is he's coming from this pose into that jump. And thank you so much. If I'm streaming later, I will definitely be excited to see you back. But I don't know. I don't know what the plan is for the afternoon. I may stream again. We'll figure it out. But here's what we're looking at so far. You can kind of see what I was talking about with the arms. This arm like reaches forward. This arm swings back. He's flying into this position right now. That's what we're kind of looking at. And I adjusted the foot a little bit because he's kicking off of there. And what we can do at this point is we can take, and we can see just how far we can, well, what we can do to get this foot rolling off of those toes like I was talking about earlier. So what we want to do, if this was unlisted, then this is the perfect stream to learn from for making a run and jump animation. So what we want to do is we want to, welcome back to your PC, Ari. We want to figure out where exactly our toes are in this first step so we can correctly portray rolling on those toes. And so if we mark it, it's about where this bracket is. So we want the back of our toe to be lined up with that bracket. And after that, it's just micro adjustments. I'm going to go into this frame. I'm going to back him up so that his toe is lining with that. It's kind of getting there. A little bit. That's looking good. Right here, he's really rolling off of those toes. And if I need to, I can go back and I can like refine it from the front as well. And then you can tell it's wonky. You start here, you have this, and then it juts forward and down, and then it comes out. So we need to refine that. Welcome back, MSM Rabbit, Monty Spawn Management Rabbit. Have you guys been watching any Astral Spiff as well? Are you guys into him? This one needs to go up. How's the animation coming along? It's good. Sarion's in here too. What's up? Happy to have ya. Welcome, welcome. I will show you what we've got done of the animation so far. I had the, when I was showing off my 3D prints earlier, I had the, my face cam covering the entire screen. And so that was fun. But right now I'm just refining a toe roll. So now he's actually rolling on those toes. And there probably is some twisting going on in the front here. Yeah, so that can even use a little bit of refinement. We can bring this over. Oh, a little bit back. A little bit back. There we go. And then this needs to come to the right. Not quite. There we go. That's a nice toe roll. Well, that's what we're looking for. Since I don't have access to any toe bones for this character, we're just having the foot roll, and that's going to be our step. But we got so much done in 2 hours. Look at all of this. Oh my goodness. A lot of the stream was spent Q&A-ing and just going off on a billion different sidetracks because of ADHD. So that's what we're kind of looking at right now. I need to go eat food because I am hungry. But at this point, after here, I would probably have the pelvis go down. And then as we're kicking off with that foot, after this frame, the pelvis would come back up as we're kicking into that jump. This back leg would start to swing forward. So I may even have this back leg a little bit more back if we're swinging it that much. And then we can bring this knee down. We can even bring that foot back. Yeah, so what I did is, for what I'm doing here, I had this pose, this jumping pose that I really liked. I like to play with the really exaggerated poses first. And this one looked nice. So I figured, okay, I need to get into this jump from a run. So let's find our last position, like our last key pose for the run. And then from that, I'm actually going to block backwards. I'm going to block the steps backwards. So that I can get a run down the hall. And then I just have linear interpolation on right now so that I can actually see what's going on in between my two movements. I can see that that's kind of what we're looking at. And that's nice. I like that. And I don't know what timing is going to look like here. I'm just focused on what's my point A, what's my point B, does it look okay getting there? And I'd say it does. So we need, that toe roll could probably even happen a little later. I don't know. We'll figure that out later. We'll refine little things like that eventually. But this leg is then going to come up and kick out. It would probably take a little less time to kick out. Yeah, kind of something like that. And then it would need to come out to the side even to not clip into this leg. And we'll figure it out. It's just little things like that. A good silhouette on the posing. Yeah, that's another thing that I look for is like I can see what's happening where, like even with this hand, I might bring that out a little bit. But this is a very exaggerated jump. His arm is prepped and ready to go. I may even rotate the hook a little bit so that I can see it a little better. Like that. Something to that effect. I can see his jumping foot, that's like his right foot that's coming up. I can see his left foot that he's springing off of. I can see his jaws wide open, but that's a really, really good observation there. Yeah. It was like a subconscious thing that I'm like, oh, that actually makes sense. Yeah, we'll keep that hook rotation. But that's a pretty solid running pose as well. I may modify it with little tweaks here and there. Hugo's streaming. Probably on Twitch. He switched to Twitch streaming a while back, and I've seen a couple of those. I may have to go say hi. But yeah, after this, it's just going to be kind of mirroring this for the run. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring his pelvis back. And then I'm going to go to where I think the other foot should make contact on the ground. I'm going to switch the foot that's making contact and the foot that's in the air. And I'm going to switch the rotation of the spine. And I'm going to move which arm is in front. And that's all that running is. It's a very repeated left, right, left, right. So once I figure out my my other foot pose, I can just copy and paste those and just move him backwards and then just figure out how smooth he can move, or how I'm going to make him move smoothly from the back of the hallway to the front. Gotta go. School and all. I enjoy watching the stream and enjoy watching you do the things that I think are enjoyable to watch. Well, thank you so much, Garduno. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day at school, or if you're home from school and you're talking about homework, best of luck with that. Maybe you could show a little more of his hook for a better silhouette reading. I like that. Ooh, okay, yeah. I like that. The thing is, the motivation for the hook is to come and swing into the neck. So I don't want to make it like a 90-degree turn like this. But something like that, even just a little bit more prominent, is really nice. I do like that. Thank you so much. That's what we're kind of looking at. I can hear I call my little siblings the kids. I can hear the kids getting home from school. So I'm going to go say hi to them. I'm going to go eat some food, and we're just going to go hang out with the family for a little bit. If you guys didn't know, there are new Mario Kart tracks that got released the other day. Those are a lot of fun. I played those the other night with my folks, and we really enjoyed those. If you have Mario Kart, go get those. And yeah, that's the weirdest thing to end on, but that's kind of what we're looking at. Thank you for bearing with me through all of the camera mayhem, all of the sidetracks, all of the let's go figure this out and let's talk about this. And yeah, I think I will wait to show off the puppet mask until more people are here. I will, like, just to prove that it's done and that I have it, I'm going to do this. Boom. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I'm gonna wait to show the full thing off until later. I may even just wait until I actually successfully animate or export a video of it, because Premiere has been struggling with the puppet project. I don't know why. Premiere has been really struggling with that, but we'll figure something out. Anywho, you're watching both me and Hugo stream. Tell him I say hi. Definitely tell him I say hi. I hope he's doing well. I'm sorry, Sarian. I will see if I can stream again soon. I have an eye appointment tomorrow morning, so maybe later this afternoon, or maybe tomorrow afternoon, or sometime next week. We'll figure something out. I would love to stream again and to have you in on that. Axie! Oh my gosh, right as I'm saying bye. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am very low on the screen. There we go. Hello, hello. You are a mod because you are super cool and awesome and cool. I will see you then, Sarian. Thank you so much for coming again. Actually, I'm so sorry. We're literally just leaving. I just teased this. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, we've been streaming for a couple of hours. I gotta go eat food because I'm hungry, and all of my siblings just got home from school, so I'd like to go say hi to them and spend some time with them. But yeah, this is what we worked on. This is what we did today. If you're still here, we did a lot of, we got sidetracked a lot, but we started doing a Foxy jump into this. You have a wonderful rest of your day as well. I will see you guys all later. Thank you again so much for joining.